We on?
Yeah, we're on.
Thank y'all. I'd like to call to order this special call self-insurance board committee meeting today, January the 20th at 10 a.m. Commissioner Brown, will you do the invocation?
Lord, we come before you at this time, seeking wisdom to discern the things that we should be able to do here for the people of this county. Help us to always approach this in good faith, and we covet wisdom from above. Lord, help us to always make the right decision. Help us to be the right example that we should be before other men. We're grateful for the sacrifice that was made for us on Calvary so that we, as Christians, may have the hope of eternal life and to live with you forever. We ask this in your Son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Can I get approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Can I get a second? There's only 3 of us. Thank you. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have approval of the agenda. Recognition of the public. I think we have vendors to speak, but does anyone want to speak to public comment? None. So we go to old business. The purpose of our special call meeting today is to look at the bid for a broker of record. So we have before us 2 bids. Am I correct? We only had 2.
Where's the second bid? I see this one right here. Where's the other one?
Should be right
This
here.
this is bid.
This is the big one. Yep.
Okay, it says request for qualifications of the bid.
So could y'all walk us through just a little bit to get us started? I don't want to overstep Cynthia's area, but this is the bid that we put out, just for everybody. So to get everybody on the same page. I'm not sure if everybody on the committee has looked at these bid documents before. So this is the bid, I knew it. This is the bid that we put out. And these are the 2 vendors that have.
I don't care.
Yes, please.
Sorry, it's a request for qualification. I do want to make that. I think that's probably important to
Thank you.
purchasing folks that might have questions. It's an RFQ, request for qualification. There's a little bit, typically there's a little bit more leeway in discussions and things like that. With a bid, you get a number, you're done, and you make a decision. But with the qualifications, that allows for some clarifying questions and the discussion today. So that's all it was.
No, that's great. That's what I was looking for. Mr. Hyde, Mr. Brown, do you have any questions about that, or how we ask, or what's in this, or we can just ask for more explanation of how this works? And I have to apologize because we didn't see these documents until just now at the table.
Yeah.
So yesterday was a holiday, and so I just wanted them to be on board. So bear with us just a few minutes.
Yes.
Keep going. And this, just gentlemen and Terry, this is what went out. So this is just that blank copy of it. And then what you have are your 2 responses that we've gotten here. Those are the 2 responses.
Honestly, I would like a little time to digest all this. This is a lot to go through.
So what we can have, if I may, Mr. Brown, is we have 2 presentations, and we can hear their presentations and then decide how we want to go through and look at the material since we have the vendors.
Okay.
Does that sound good to the 2 of you?
Yeah.
Mr.
They
Hyde?
made it here. So I'm okay with it.
Very good. So I'm wondering with this, can I have just a second? Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
That's not legal. That's entirely how you want to handle it as chairman.
So do we want to, we can have those vendors here to listen to each other, or we can take it on one after the other?
What do you mean?
So, the two
You
vendors.
want us to be able to ask questions, or just give them, let them
Just
have
have
one
one
at
at
a
a
time?
This
Oh,
was a
one
sealed,
time.
this was a
Yeah,
sealed bid,
that might
and
not
they
be a
could have
bad
been there,
idea.
and, yeah, one at a time, or
Yeah.
both, so we
Yeah.
could have one step out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it isn't a public meeting, they can listen later, or, so it's up to you. I'd like to get that decision
That
to
would
you.
probably be a good idea.
Is that, I don't know how this works.
It doesn't matter, but, that
You
would
want-
make people more comfortable.
Well,
We go out and talk about football. We'll be bad, we'll let you go ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Before, may
Or
I,
not, yes, please.
Yeah.
That's what
before
I
we
want.
get down there, I think we're still too, the waters are still too muddy here. Can we,
Yeah,
we need to talk about why we're here today. This started out, if you can explain what the RFQ was, yeah. We were submitting for,
for a broker. We wanted to go broker service instead of bidding full out vendors, I guess, for our product, bidding out the product, right? So we chose to do the broker route instead of, every 3-year bid. So we'll have to, I guess we'll have to vendor every 3 years now.
because this committee busted it out,
Yeah.
just to be clear. So that's why we're doing it on an annual basis now. Now, the RFQ requirements were brought up, and then, finance sent out the RFQ, and the requirement of that RFQ was that, I believe, is SIB has to approve the process and sign off, basically. This is a hurdle through this whole RFQ process, so that's why we're sitting here today.
Yes, that's my understanding from our last meeting.
That, I just wanted to straighten it up a little bit.
All right. If y'all like to, thank you.
There's a
Yeah, just come get us.
You just go down the hall.
Yeah, there's a little
right there to the left, there's a little table.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll leave my cover.
Wait, if anybody gets called, you won't mind,
Yeah,
right?
you do my cover.
So, it's when, I didn't get your last name.
Wendy here.
And Wendy, if you could tell us, and again, I apologize that we're not prepared. And if you could tell us about, if you could walk us through your,
Are you just gonna make this a
With
Q&A
your
with
Yeah.
everybody?
Yeah, why don't you come up and take that seat right there? That way you don't have to keep looking around.
So, yeah, that's great. Let's have a motion to suspend the rules, and that way if she presents, we can ask questions as they come up. And then second? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the rules are suspended. As you present, if we have questions, are you okay if we ask?
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll try and get through this together.
We can do it together. And
This
again,
is yours, right?
yes, it is my company's. I am Janet Cook, is actually our director for the state of Tennessee. She had a conflict this morning. As vice president of CCMSI, she asked if I would pinch hit since I live here in Sumner County. So I apologize. I do not have all the background, the knowledge. I got a phone call this morning at 8:45 to hustle over here. So I may be just as in the dark as you guys, but I certainly can address questions, talk about our role and how we can partner with you, and kind of the benefits of partnering with us. So I did do a formal presentation, so I hope that's okay. So I really kind of just look to you guys for what questions or what things we might need to talk through. And I can kind of go through, I mean, I think obviously pricing is always something we want to talk about. Resources that you have at your disposal. And because CCMSI is here today as presenting for broker of record, we also on the other side of our business are a TPA that handles all the claims, liability, property, OJI, workers' comp, and can also fill that void as part of the placement.
And that's included in this price?
No, ma'am, I believe, now my understanding is it was just an RFQ for BOR, for the broker of record. Is that correct? Okay. So that role would entail kind of placing the business, placing your coverages, managing whatever TPA that you might choose and/or as you guys self-administer. I apologize, I don't know that. So basically, Janet would act in that role as key point for you guys to talk through placement of coverage, who you want to handle the claims, whether they be self-administered or do a RFQ, RFI for a TPA to handle those claims. And she could do all of those matters on your behalf in partnership with you.
So the idea of broker of record is new for us.
Okay.
Can you explain what a broker of record does?
You bet. So the broker is the one that's going to become your first line of defense, your first line of contact for any of your insurance services that you may have. And so my understanding, this is all PNC, so that becomes your OJI or workers' comp. I'm not sure which part of the statute you guys jump into. It is your property. It is your general liability, your employer's liability, any type of fleet that you may have. So depending on what that umbrella covers, then what we do is partner with you as the BOR to do placement. So we search out and find the best carriers. We at CCMSI have partnerships with over 50 carriers. So we try and find, the best coverage for the best dollar for you and the citizens of Sumner County. And so she acts as that placement for you. Then the next step is who's going to handle the claims. So she'll help partner with you to decide, is it something to roll into CCMSI because that's a service that we offer, or do we want to do an RFQ and look at other parties within this kind of realm of third-party administrators to handle your claims. And then she will help you manage, audit, make sure that you're getting the best service for every dollar that you spend. So she really kind of just helps spearhead the program for you, because certainly it seems like there's a lot of parties involved, so it's nice to have one person to come to the table who has all that information from a consistency standpoint for you guys.
So where's your office?
So our office is over by the airport, over off Elm Hill Pike. Both Janet and myself live here in Sumner County, and we have quite a few adjusters that also reside here. So we have a really strong representation. Janet and I are kind of the front lines, 24/7 access to. So certainly not that we would wish any type of catastrophic event, but we are those front lines here local for you. Janet lives out on the peninsula, and I live in 12 Stones. So,
You're in my district.
okay, then good. I got lots to talk to you about then. Just kidding. I actually also own a business here in Sumner County on the side, so very vested personally in success of this program, because as a business owner and a resident, I want the best.
So at this point, $157,000 is a broker of record.
It is.
Other services would need to be bid.
They would. That would be a different price, and I don't think that was part of this RFQ.
She sent the breakdown.
Oh, no, I didn't, so thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. So, yes, there is a breakdown in there that talks about how it's broken down. So the placement of insurance, that's almost 102,845. She's got on-site attendance of meetings of 10,000. So for her to be present at the meetings, are a representative from CCMSI. Account management, that's the
Is that in the package somewhere?
I believe
It was part of a clarification.
Which page?
This is a result of questions
Very
we
last.
asked.
No, it's a separate packet. Very last page, and separate page. No. Oh, Your, let me have that, okay? Your whole packet there, yeah.
Okay, well, this-
There you go.
A lot of paper.
Yeah.
We can't trade.
Yeah.
So basically it's a fee for service. So what Janet did was kind of broke it out for you so that you understand holistically what happens. I mean, part of this is your placement of excess coverage, and that I will tell you is, one of the largest undertakings, from a broker standpoint, because you have multiple lines of coverage, which may not all be with the same insurance carrier. So part of what she does is goes out to get you that best deal with having the largest, and breadth of coverage for you, right? So on-site meetings, that would be having a representative, for here for file reviews for things of that nature. She's got a $25,000 broken down for account management. That is really kind of the one-point shopping too also. You get to call Janet if there's a problem with a claim, whether we're the TPA or not. She is going to be the one that can help administer any concerns that you may have from an oversight. She's also going to be the one that you're going to deal with all your invoicing, your billing, your last cost dollars. So it's just kind of a all-encompassing. Our system access is pretty amazing. I don't know if it's something that you guys would want access to.
So you're saying for 25,000, she handles all the claims?
No, she's the one who does the oversight. She's the one that pieces together whoever is handling to be able to bring summaries back to you. If you need to have a file review, if you need to talk about certain claims because they've hit a certain dollar threshold, she's going to be that conduit to make sure that information is presented to you in a consistent manner. You've got a perplexed look.
No, there's lots of pieces, and, obviously not an insurance expert.
That's why I'm here.
Is our third-party administrator like Corvell, or is that only for on-the-job injury? That's on-the-job injury, will review only. So they just review. Are they the ones, and they write our check?
For lost wages, for OJI?
No. They write the checks for claim payment, or medical payment.
Okay, for the right, okay.
That I send to the-
Okay, so do you handle the OJI claims? Okay, so it's self-administered?
Yes.
Here, okay.
We don't have a TPA.
Makes sense now. You are it for the OJI. So now for general liability, property, auto, is that you also? Okay. Okay. So that might be something that we need to negotiate or have some discussions on. Now what she can do is help manage part of that relationship with Corvell, but it sounds like it's something that is already in place. So it sounds like not knowing all the pieces that are currently in place, there might be some room for some negotiation if we're not going to take it out to an TPA RFP, if that makes sense. No.
What is TPA?
Third-party administrator, I apologize. So that's your claims handling folks. Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
I think I recognize for the,
I'm sorry, we suspended the rules,
Yeah, we
and
suspended.
we're on casual mode.
I wasn't on board.
No, you're not.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you wanted to compare, your TPA on your medical is Blue Cross.
Okay.
They pay your claims, okay? In other words, you don't have anyone on staff in Sumner County with the qualifications to determine if that bill is correct and it's covered and so forth. So you pay Blue Cross a fee to do that. Blue Cross is not your insurance company, okay? They are your TPA, and along with that, you get their network, which is an important piece. So this TPA, similar, but it's different. I
Close.
don't know how to say that, but the concept is the same, okay, for the property and casualty. And it's an important element because there are things that come up, and I don't care how much someone knows, there are things about some claims that get really complicated and so forth. So it's good to have that to go to because I think we do it quite often on Blue Cross. We'll contact somebody. Scott. We contact him and say, here's the situation, so forth, explain this to us, or whatever, and as your representative, as your consultant, and so that's who we go to. And same, I assume here, there's, we help.
And if I can ask you, I think, is it Scott that shows up sometimes?
Yes.
We rarely quiz him on stuff, but if it ever comes up, he pops up and.
Correct.
Okay, so Blue Cross is the one for medical.
Yes.
Who's the one for property and auto? Kim. Okay.
Kim is one-stop shopping for you.
For everything else but
And
medical.
OJI also.
She's pretty, everything.
And
Everything
liability.
except Blue Cross. And just to address Blue Cross, we could look at Blue Cross in the same manner, but we have, I've had several talks with our former finance director. We like our employees like the stability of Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance, so it's not something we look at reviewing in this process in order to keep that, continuity in our employees, in the county employees with their insurance company. So we don't look at it in the same way, right?
And Blue Cross, I mean, you can.
We
always
could, but
can. RFQ bids, and we could.
Y'all want to keep your insurance.
But I do think there's a huge difference with medical, because medical, if you have the insurance, you're going to touch it. Here, we don't necessarily, your employees are not all going to touch. Kim, she doesn't have to, not all the time, but if something happens, that's when she's going to have to help them. So it's a lot less employee-centric. It's more about management and helping who's the best partner for the county administration.
Right. And so we become a resource for you, Cal. Right? So, certainly if there's a claim that we need to roundtable to discuss, it's complicated, we've got media attention, whatever, we have those tools in place to help support you through the process. And that's where Janet and I would step in and support you through that.
You strictly are a support rather than a replacement.
We can be a replacement, but I don't want to kick Kim to the curb over here. I can handle all of your claims. CCMSI can. We have the capability. That is what we do nationwide, and we do it for other counties here.
How much?
That is not a price that we put together, because that was not a question that was asked of us.
Depends on how many claims you have and what kind of claims they are.
Right. So that wasn't part of this request. Can I put that together for you? Absolutely, if that's something that you want.
It sounds to me like it would be a nice little chunk.
It's not cheap. I mean, it's usually a per claim. So depending on what your losses look like is what drives what that dollar is.
Are
And
you
we can,
bidding 1 year or 3?
I would love to bid 3 years.
There's 3 on the back, or year 2.
And so for 3 years, it would be $463,000 without these other services that we have not bid.
Correct.
And I think it might go up a little bit, just to quote it correctly.
Yes.
Here might be a little bit
So
higher.
it looks like she's got it flat for the first 2 years. It goes up slightly year 3. So yes, that is the fee for us to provide all the coverages. Your certificates of insurance, we would do that, which I anticipate can be a little tedious for you guys. And again, the nice thing is, it's here someone local that spits out those certificates of insurance. You're not calling someone in another state. You call Janet. So there's a lot of ease of use for here and pieces that she's going to be able to deliver to you. And I don't know now, do you do the certificates of insurance, Kim?
I think so.
Oh, okay, but we would partner with Kim so that we would be ease of use for her to come directly to us, and we would issue those for you on behalf of the carriers. We have that ability to do.
So, Wendy, if I think I can cut to the chase.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we're kind of not trying to say what I'm going to say. So what we're wondering is what you're offering more than the other vendor, because they're coming in at about $50,000 a year. And what we're trying to nicely
Say is I am way crazy expensive.
What are you offering that they're not offering? And so I'll just cut to the chase.
No, absolutely. And you know what? we are here local, for you. We are going to do the certificates of insurance. We have access to 50-plus insurance carriers to make sure that we get you the very best coverage. We can absolutely support Kim, and not knowing what your loss costs, what kind of your exposure looks like, there are pieces that we can roll into this to make it from your side a bit more of an appetite for what our fees are.
And I think that sounds important, but I'll just say, I don't understand how that applies. I'm so sorry. Can you break that down a little bit? Non-insurance policy.
Right.
I don't.
No, absolutely. So what?
Well, yeah. So what do you need to know from me?
Well, how many claims do you have a year?
Workers.
Tell me OJI.
OJI, last year we had 65.
Okay. How many of those were lost time?
Off the top of my head, probably 10.
Okay. So y'all are small. And on your property GL, your GL is probably your biggest claim.
Yeah, we have a jail, so we have lots of.
Okay. And is your jails also, are your wardens there part of your OJI?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Danielle did really good. Okay. So what I would need to do, and I apologize because the person that created this had a conflict, so I'm standing in. So I don't know all of the pieces behind it. But what I do want to say is, Janet's going to be the one who's going to sit here and answer all the questions that you have on your program. She's going to work closely with Kim and put that together. She's going to be able to look statistically and analytically on how you are processing things to maybe be able to find ways to be better, save money. Our goal is to partner with you, really, and to look at your processes, to make placement of insurance, and be able to make some savings recommendations to you also. So the goal, too, is to jump in and understand your program from A to Z.
Does that number include any risk management?
Of us oversight, looking at, like, being an extension of your risk management team?
Yeah, like going and talking to people who had claims or just doing, active risk management stuff.
We don't really see much happening whenever they go out and wreck a car within these different departments.
Okay.
As far as trying to remediate the problems that caused the accident.
Problem. So you're looking for some loss control. Yes, there can be some loss control in here. What we would do is agree upon a number of hours potentially for what would make sense, but certainly you guys have fleets. That's, an opportunity for us to look at, make sure that folks are getting the right driver's education so that when we place it, we're getting the best rate for insurance. So taking a look at all of those things is kind of Janet's role, to find you where we need to shore some things up. And in our role, that's kind of what the broker does, an extension for your risk management team.
I have one question about systems. You had started to talk about.
I did.
We started talking about other stuff, and I'm not a data geek. I want to know.
Our data
what
is.
access does that give to?
So how do you capture your claims data now? Let me so that I can make it make sense.
I have a basic software program and then Excel worksheets.
Okay. So one of the things that we potentially could look at too that would make things really nice for you is working the claims in our system. Since you're self-administered, we could put the data in, which then allows us to look at overall reserving data, right? Look at what we anticipate those losses will be. Look at what we're actually paying on those loss cost dollars. We can take a feed in so that we can put in what those medical bills are from Corvell, so we can take a look at the claims holistically, which then allows us to estimate what your risk is moving forward. We also have Gradient AI built into our system, which allows us to take and look at information such as comorbidities, right? So maybe someone is diabetic, or maybe they're older, and as we all know, I'm 56. I don't bounce the same way as I did when I was 35. So it gives us some information that says those claims may be more expensive. So those are some really pretty cool tools that we could put together that Kim would really probably streamline and make your job pretty dang easy. And I think in a lot of ways that's helpful because as the county grows, and obviously we see this influx in our community of folks moving in, your job's going to get bigger. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. And how do we give you the tools to succeed without adding another body to your payroll, right? And part of it is by kind of letting Janet act in partnership with Kim as the risk manager over and taking a look at everything going on within the county.
I have a couple questions. For CMSI, the word that has not been used is commissions. When you place a product with stop loss or reinsurance or whomever, are the commissions paid into that your company receives those in addition to what you're quoting as a fee?
I do not have that answer because that is what Janet does, but I can get an answer and get it back to you.
We would need that answer.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I could step on that, we, this number, I think we typically, I think we purchase right at $1 million in insurance. Is that what we're?
Your coverage is your deductible, your excess deductible.
$500,000.
Okay.
It dropped $500,000. So I think what, and again, I'm not an insurance expert.
That's okay.
But as far as what we would want, what I would wonder is if you could get our policies cheaper.
Right.
I mean, and I think that's where I would wonder about the commissions on top of it and stuff. But I don't know any way that we can look at that. I don't see a way to look at that.
So, placement of go ahead.
I think the clear answer that you would need is simply, are you going to receive commissions in addition to?
Well, I can ask her.
Because most of these companies pay somewhere between 5 and 10%, depending on what the product is, 5 to 10% of the premium, and that usually goes to an agent. They
Right.
usually buy just a little business out here in the suburbs. They buy insurance, and they have an agent, and that agent handles everything, and they sell it through XYZ company, and that company pays them a commission. And they don't charge a fee. They just get whatever the commission is for the insurance. There are some situations where, like people who aren't just an agent, but do offer many other services, are offering advice, guidance, counseling, those kinds of things, and they have a fee for that. That's up front. You know what that is, just like with us. You know what you pay us, and that's all we get. We don't get any kickback or first row seats to the Bulls games or whatever to get us to keep giving business to people. We get what you pay us. That's all we get out of it. So we need to be clear that whoever you're with, they will certify that that's it. Okay? Because at the end of the day, we don't know unless we ask them for tax records that shows who they paid money to. And that gets ugly. So we just don't know. So we need at least on the front end, answer, are you going to take commission?
So, and I just sent something to Janet and our CEO. I work directly for the president of CCMSI. I just don't do the placement, so I would not want to misspeak. So I have asked that question. We might get an answer here in a second, depending on technology and how fast they are to me.
And if we could, in hindsight, we probably should put that in the business or the RFQ.
And I certainly can get.
I think that was in the RFQ.
Is it?
I believe so.
So is it answered?
Let me go ahead and ask the county a quick question while we're looking to save your time. Of course, we've been involved with this table for many years. And just so, and you are doing something different than I've ever seen the county do before in this process, which we recommended. But in that, if we're comparing numbers from vendors who are saying they will do what they say they will do, I'm not sure that I have seen a number from the county that outlines what you're actually paying now under your current arrangement. I mean, I know what you're paying the other, the other you're paying them, but there are a lot of services incorporated by the county that in a lot of other counties we work with, those are done outside through third parties. So when we're comparing, is this a compatible number or not. We really need to make sure that salaries, other things of people who are doing things that could be done more efficiently this way because it's built into their number, or how it could be coordinated. It is not a simple answer. I appreciate that. It is actually quite complex.
Yes, I see.
But we just need to make sure that when you all get to the final point of making a decision as to who you want to use to handle this process for the upcoming renewal, that you can make that decision based on as close as possible the actual cost to the county at the end of the day. When that next year is over, and you look at how much have we paid out from all sources, what was really the difference or benefit in making a change or not making a change or whatever you do.
And it sounds like because this is new, you guys are gonna get to kind of develop what your perfect partnership looks like, right? So, Kim, part of that is collaborating with you on how, we can support you in the process, and really taking a deep dive into your program to see what supports we can assume under this umbrella, without extra expense that maybe takes some of the heavy lifting from you.
So, to be respectful of everyone's time and stuff, and again, I apologize that we have not had this material go through. Can you just wrap it up so we can, move on to the next vendor?
Absolutely.
And then we can follow up with some more. So anything that you want to present to us that we should think about, and then we may have more questions later, but we need to give them some time.
Okay.
Before we get to that,
Yes, go
the
ahead.
question is asked, how much are we paying right now? Beth, how much are we paying right now for this service?
Can I ask a question? I think last year when we looked at it, the year before, we were paying, and correct me, I think we were paying, Mr. Seville with CSI, I think we paid $50,000 on top of the actual insurance payment. And then when we rolled into it in this last fiscal year, we removed that. I think that was the intent. I haven't looked at the numbers. We bid out the product and we paid the commission fee. And we paid the commission fee, but we don't know what that was. Do we know what that was, the commission fee? Or it was rolled into the product? It was somewhere around the same time, about $50,000. Did we roll it in and group it, summarize? It was in with the premium. It was in with the premium. So what we did was we rolled in the past, and I'll just give it a year, let's say in 2021, and I'm just throwing a dart at the date, we was paying like $50,000 for the service. And then last year we came in and we started looking at the bidding process and the $50,000, and we said, well, we're not going to be paying for the service without bidding it out and stuff. So we removed that $50,000, so then what they did is they rolled that commission fee into the premium of the product, so it's in the product itself, it's in our insurance segment. So we really don't know how much it is.
But you're still paying.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, one of your questions was also the incidentals related to running our program, one being Kim,
Right.
and things of that nature, right?
Well, that, finance, and whoever else
Right,
has to
okay.
get involved in the process.
Yeah, that's what I
And the
thought.
feedback, because our goal is not to just cover claims, our goal is to prevent them and cut down on the claims. That's the best way to lower the cost.
I was looking through here, and again, I do want to speed it up so they can, I want to respect their time. I know that in this bid, we asked you for basically your other clients. Can you tell me, because I think that your group does Rutherford County.
We do. We've done Rutherford County for a long time.
And if I can step in to kind of go back to what I think that I'm hearing here, and then I want to ask you about some other clients, and then I want to give the others in their chance.
Absolutely.
Okay. Rutherford County, I believe, has 3 risk management employees at the county. So it's not like y'all are replacing them. You're coming in beside them somewhere.
Correct.
So can you tell me what other clients that you have close by here? And I've been like searching through
You
here.
listed Rutherford, Roane, and Town of Smyrna.
Okay, and we do basically the same thing for all of those. I think Smyrna and Rutherford County, certainly probably much more your size and similar. But we come in, we partner with them. Rutherford County, we actually do handle their claims. So they do not have someone on staff who handles them. They come directly to us, and that includes not only all the county claims, but all the school claims. And we administer those for them. So we are a little bit deeper in with them, but it allows us, again, to partner and look at the data and give suggestions and look at causality of claims, what might we can do better moving forward to save you money.
Okay. That answers my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We would have with Rutherford County 3 employees plus your consultation service.
No, Rutherford has 3 employees on staff.
We just have.
We also have $2.5 billion worth of
But
stuff.
that's just-
I was
Yeah.
thinking here about total expense.
Yeah.
You have 3 employees, plus there is a fee for.
Right, they have a much bigger team from a risk management standpoint than what you guys are operating here.
They're doing schools too?
Yes, they're doing, that's where the problem is.
If we were to look, I would say over at
70,
school,
80%.
they probably have 1 or 2 people doing some stuff over at the schools right now. So as a county, we probably are incurring this amount of employees.
They have one person that does OJI, one person that does like each part. So it's, when you're that big, you do that.
It would make sense, and perhaps I've briefly talked to Mr. Langford, it would make sense for our county to at least join back in insurance together, in a consolidated manner for this, for insurance processing, but that's another day's discussion.
You meet with the Board of Education.
Yeah.
But if you're placing insurance at one time, I mean, certainly, sometimes you get a better bang for your buck. And I hate to say that, but it's just kind of the nature of insurance. The more you can place and the bigger breadth it is, the better rate that you get. So certainly, like you said, to be respectful, just to kind of give you some key points that make us a little bit of who we are. We are a privately held company. We do not have investors that are telling us what to do, how to do in handling claims with you. That allows us to be totally and completely flexible in how we build a program for you. A lot of my peers in the industry, they've got private investors and private equity, so that is who drives how they do things. We are totally transparent. I did just confirm there is no commission involved. So she said what you see is what you get from a transparent process with you. We don't want to do the commission piece because that is not as clear as and transparent for you guys. We have.
So you don't do commissions?
No, we do not.
Okay, I just want to clarify, we can follow this up with a question.
Yeah.
But on that point, can you secure insurance net of commission?
Yes. That is what Janet just responded to me.
Right, I mean, it's one thing not to receive it, but it's gonna go somewhere.
Right.
And some of these companies, insurance companies, have designated, I used to know one of them, people who, where if this happens, they don't change the
Yeah.
premium. It's still paid. The agent doesn't get the commission, but somebody.
Yeah.
does.
So in our world, that's not how we operate.
We want to reduce the premium.
By any type of rate commission that might be there. If there is that opportunity, we would reduce the premium.
Yes.
Yes. And we will respond, if you send that, we will respond formally to
Yeah,
that.
that needs to be in writing with whomever the
Okay.
county deals with.
No, fair enough. And just the other thing is we invest heavily in our people. I've already talked to you about who is here locally to support you, Sumner County residents. Our technology cannot be beat by anyone in the marketplace. We own it, we build it. So if there are certain fields that we find that we want to work in, you want to work in our system, that you need to be productive, then those are things that we have the ability to make changes very easily and on the fly. So,
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
have one final question. Guess it'll be final, but how often, Kim, would you, this question came up, how often would you find yourself picking up the telephone during the week and calling a person for consultation of any type?
Of any type?
Yeah.
Well, of course, I use a nurse case manager, so.
Yeah.
Often.
Okay.
Well, I mean, mostly emailing back and forth, but I contact them often.
Thank you.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
And I don't know that we'll have, after they speak, a time to talk. You're welcome to stay and come back in here when they finish.
Okay. Then I will do that in case there's other opportunity or you need me. I don't want to
Thank you.
vacate. And I apologize, I didn't have all the answers, but certainly will strive to get them for you.
Thank you. Would you, yes, would you?
Okay, thanks.
Table.
People don't know. The table. I'll be on the table.
Y'all need a coffee break?
Thank you.
She didn't bring it out.
Yeah, did you bring donuts? We have suspended the rules, and we're still in suspended rules. If you'd like to, have a seat at the table, we're in casual mode.
Okay, great.
Good. Yeah, I didn't wear my tie. I think you should. No, sir. Could do that. Here. Okay.
Excellent. So, we just asked, the other vendor to tell us what, they were presenting to us, and then we opened the floor to questions as we went, just a casual
Sure what
open.
we thought.
All right?
Yeah.
So,
Y'all ready to do it?
yep, we're all set.
Okay.
You've got the floor.
Okay. Can y'all see me if I sit down?
Here, I'll slide back a little.
Well, they know us, so I won't look at y'all. And Jim knows us. But I'm Bob Seville, and we've handled your insurance in the background for 4 years. Normally we're a wholesale broker, so we go around the country and we help all the major insurance brokers do public sector stuff. So we help the big ones like Marsh Mac, which is the biggest one in the world, all the way down to the little local agent. And so we basically train, we're the trainers that teach everybody in the country about public sector insurance. And my two boys have the company. We don't have the same model they do. And like them, my boys are a lot better than me. So, amen back there. We got an amen. And, so what I...
Son? First question, is this your son?
No.
No.
I know, I hope that you but I'm way older than that. My sons are not near that good looking.
No bonus for you this year.
This is John Smith, and he'll have his time, but he does all of our risk control and TPA work, and we've partnered with him on lots of things, and he's better at that than I am. So
Yeah,
far, everybody's better than me.
Yeah, my company's Brentwood Services, but we were acquired in 22 by Acrisure. So now it's Acrisure Claims Services, but I work out of Brentwood.
Yeah, and so
I have, maybe 10 cities and counties that I handle directly. And, when I say I handle directly, I'm not their paid risk manager, but that's what I do. I'm their risk manager. And Kim will call me once a month usually, and I'll give her risk management advice, and that's sort of what I do. I'll come in and help design your risk management program so that we hit our motto, and that's the best claim is the one that never happens. And we try to be proactive on that. And so y'all will be handled directly by me, and I'll be the day-to-day person that handles everything. And I enjoy doing that. I could retire if I wanted to, but I just like helping people and finding things. And so with my years of experience, I get a lot of calls and spend a lot of days just answering questions and solving problems. So we're in about 20 states and have 300 cities and counties, and we write big universities like Clemson, work with their risk managers, and we write utility, we write Henderson utilities.
Can I ask you a question? Do you do our school system, our Board of Education?
We do. The Board of Education?
Yes. Are you the representative for
No.
Sumner County Board of Education?
No, we came in 4 years ago when they split off the insurance. And that's sort of why we came in, was they split off the insurance. So we needed to look at that program and rebuild it and make it just for the county. So that's when we arrived. So we don't do the schools. We do a lot of schools, but we don't do these.
Okay. So that is when you partnered with our county, is when we did the split. Thank you for that history.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how that worked, and I haven't been.
Yeah, they have a separate. I'm not sure who do you know who the broker is? Do you know about? I don't either.
They stopped talking about us.
I will tell you, to add to that element, I will tell you, when I spoke to the state risk pool, they told me they don't do schools.
They're probably self-insured.
So and then they pointed me to the tornado that hit a school building. It kind of, just to add to that, the school insurance is a big.
Yeah, the tornadoes have really put a lot of pressure on the state.
Schools, yeah, or the big buildings, yeah.
We're like Clarksville, Montgomery down there, and they had the same situation. Had a big tornado hit.
So do you do some entities with schools?
Yeah.
You just don't do our schools?
No, that's right. Yeah, they didn't like us, so we didn't do them.
Well, that's fine. They don't like us sometimes too.
Yeah.
Did you bid on their product?
No.
No.
No, we just most of our business stuff we write, people call us.
Okay.
And we wrote one in Missouri. The city attorney called up and said, "We want to fire our agent and fire our insurance company." I'm like, "Don't do that." And I said, "We need to keep them," but we took that over and we worked as their risk manager and handle everything for them. So it's
some of the entities in Tennessee that you.
Well, we have let's see, that one I just mentioned, and like Hendersonville Utilities right next door, right Warren County, right let's see, Lenore City's utility boards turned into be the largest outside the TVA. They're in Nashville. They're the largest utility board in the state.
Did you say Hendersonville is? Or
Lenore City.
Lenore City.
Yeah, they we have all the utilities there. We have a level 3 storage facility there that stores all the servers for things like hospitals and things. So we have to go in and manage all of their cyber liability and what that looks like. So,
are you currently managing our cyber liability? I mean,
we do.
We're a little unclear, the committee here, on what we are doing to manage some elements, such as cybersecurity and things like that.
Yeah, we have a cyber policy with trackers.
Yes.
And,
And I've seen it.
but we have probably 300 cyber policies we write. I got an email on one this morning, somebody got ransomware. And we already had the multi-factor in there and all the stuff that you read about. So, it's sort of an odd thing. I find myself teaching these really smart cyber people how to do their cyber.
Okay.
And I know that I'm sort of like the hospital administrator. You know?
Is that still an ongoing situation, or did it conclude?
The one this morning?
What you talking about, yeah?
That one's just
started.
Just started. Yeah, it's a ransomware. In North Carolina, they can't pay ransoms, so it's more of a server management issue. And then, like in Lenore City, we have a huge cyber exposure, as you can imagine, with the utilities and all. And we had sort of a conflict there between engineering and the risk control cyber folks, because we had to leave a port open for their SCADA system. You ever heard of SCADA systems? Those are the guys that walk around with the little electronic things and read your meters. It's called the SCADA system. Well, for them to read that, they have to leave their port open. Y'all probably have 20 ports here. And so what we do is we look at those ports to make sure your ports are managed adequately and technically closed. And if you have open ports, which a lot of people do, we get them closed, and we work with the IT folks to manage all of your security and the things that has to be in place. And my job is I'll go in and tell them all the things they need to do, and I don't have a lick of sense about how to do them. I don't know how to do all that part, but I know what needs to be accomplished so that you have the proper umbrella over you so that you don't get hacked. And we do. I spend a lot of time talking to IT folks and consultants, and just, and if you look at 300 of them, you sort of get to know what it needs to look like and what they need to do. And if somebody doesn't have the right stuff, you can spot it right away. So those are sort of a one and done deal, because once you get it all implemented correctly, you don't have to go back and rebuild the wheel. But that's your biggest exposure here. Would you say that? It's probably one of the biggest.
People's biggest exposure right now.
Yeah.
Technology that's available. I got an email from somebody in the industry the other day from their email address, and just the text was weird. So I sent her an email just outside of it and said, "Did you send this?" She's like, "No, I was hacked yesterday." And so they figured out how to send out phishing emails from actual email addresses. So it's not just like if you see Gmail, it could be from somebody you know.
Yeah, we've seen that here too.
It happens all the time. We created a thing called concierge cyber, and I like to describe it. We had a little $400 fee under the cyber policy. I don't know if we have it here. I don't think we do. We just hadn't had it that long. But it's the AAA of cyber. So, your car breaks down the side of the road. You call AAA, they come by. They either get it started and send you on your way, or they tow it to a garage and they hand it off to the garage. So this, you always get hacked on Friday afternoon, right? And just like this, these guys got hacked over the holiday weekend. So your biggest exposure is on that Thursday or Friday before the holiday weekend. So we send out little emails saying, keep your ears up. And then our team comes in when you do have an event on a Friday afternoon and everybody's closed. That's it's like a toothache, Always happens on Friday afternoon. And so that team comes in, and they're within an hour, they're 24/7 on the deal. And the biggest losses we're having these days are impersonating a vendor. So they impersonate the vendors and change the wiring instructions, and we catch it 98% of the time. but that one time, you know, somebody wires the funds. If you ever closed on a house, you know, they send you all kinds of warnings about that. And so if that happens, though, you know, Kim calls me and says, we wired the funds. I had a big self-insured county. We write a lot of metro Atlanta counties, look like y'all. And but they called me. They said, oh, we just wired $200,000 to the wrong party. So we reported to our guys. If we can get it in 36 hours, we're connected to the FBI and we can get it back. You know, if you call me 2 months later, you know, that's probably not going to come back. So those are things we've seen, so we can sort of plan for them, so that we know what to do when it happens. You know, when you have a cyber event, it's like having cancer. You just want to tell us something. So I'm getting a little too long-winded here, but what we did was we come in and manage and do all of your risk management. We work with you if we have a lawsuit or whatever we've got. We make sure everything's going to the right spot. We try to manage all of the. Jeremy does a great job on the buildings, figuring out all the buildings. We still got to figure out what we're going to do with all these documents, you know, that are in the archives. And so we try to figure those things like that out. So.
Yeah, and it's a special call. We can't get into the documents, but I don't think we have enough coverage there either. But we can't.
No, they're not. It's hard to value them.
Yeah, we can't go into that today, but I do agree with that. I'll acknowledge that comment. Yeah. That we're a little short there.
But that's something, you know. And so last year, we've been with states for 20-something years.
91 or 2, I think. 1990.
40 years.
Yeah, it was a while.
We had been with them in states. I knew the guys that started states. It was a risk retention group, and it was a good group. I mean, it was 45 entities that were in there. But over the last 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, they've really started taking on claims. They had a Virginia Beach claim that was $6 or $7 million. They had another one of that size. And a group of 45 can't take that many claims. And so the reinsurance went up. They started, they took our retention from $500,000 to $1 million, and put a co-insurance clause in there, and just so we could see that they were starting to lose members, and they were down in the 20s, weren't they? Last we checked, and so Kim and I talked about it a little bit too, and we just decided it was time to pull the plug on that and to get out of that group and get into a more stable group. So last year we changed, wasn't it? Last year we moved out of there, and we went into this new excess carrier, and they're just a straight excess carrier. They write excess of $500,000. If we have a claim, we report it to them. Tim handles the claims, and then he's going to talk about in a minute what he can do to enhance what Kim does and what you do on the OJI program.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
You said you handle all the risk management. You just partner with Kim, right?
Yeah, Kim does what she does.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, in today's world, you can see a lot just sitting at your desk. And then we walk around, Jeremy sees everything, and he raises the flag, he sees something written in. So we bring the knowledge to the table. This is how everybody else does it. This is what's been successful. This is what you're doing. This is what you're not doing. And this is what we need to do. So we don't have that claim. You know what I mean? And we carry our cell phones with us. And she's got my cell phone number. And if I'm on vacation and we get a lawsuit come in, I'll get a call. We just carry them with us all the time. So, but anyway, we switched over, and by switching, we dropped our retention from $1 million down to $500,000, and we dropped our premium. Our premium went down 6% last year. So it was a good move. And we bid the property out, and went out to the property. That was a good move. The property rate dropped. So our next stage is to get our deductible down, but having a tornado that hit the school system puts us in an adverse wind zone. And so that's where we're getting these high wind and hail deductibles that we have. So that's how I work and what I do. And I want you to talk a minute about how you work. And he's a TPA like y'all just talked to, but he's got a little different setup, so y'all can keep doing your claims, which I think you want to do. And he'll just enhance it.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I'm John Smitherman. I'm with Brentwood Services Administrators. Now it's Acrisure Claims Services. So we're third-party administrator for self-insured employers. We handle a lot of public entities. We have Montgomery County, Madison County. We just started working with Metro Nashville, so we're the TPA for their IOD program. It's the same thing as OJI, but so we handle claims all over the country, but I'm in Brentwood. We still issue checks out of Brentwood for all of our clients. And we also provide safety and loss control services. So I've got employees that are local that could come here and do surveys, and inspections, training, do a loss analysis, give you recommendations. So those employees are local as well. But we handle a lot of OJI or, entities that opt out of workers' comp. So we have a very in-depth understanding of that. Then the other thing we offer is, we work with a lot of employers that have been previously, we call it self-administration, like Kim, you're handling the claims. You could continue to do that, but we offer a platform where you can put the information in, then you could produce loss runs later. You could have us produce loss runs, but you could put it in a claim system or a platform. And that also would help with Medicare reporting. So we can do the Medicare reporting for you. That would be we have an automatic feed that goes to a company called ExamWorks. They report to Medicare on our behalf. The other thing we can do too is we can take your medical bills, we can reprice them to state fee schedule. We can also reduce them based on PPO networks that we have.
Can I ask you?
Yes.
And I think that maybe you can help me. Does that include our medical? And I don't know if I assume we're using Medicaid for our jail medical. Is that outside this, or is that something that I know that we take our inmates to the hospital. We have a special contract. And I assume it's under an insurance policy. I don't know, is it under this umbrella that we're talking about now, or is it somewhere else?
It depends on when and how they're injured.
And would we be able to take a look, because I think that's where a lot of our costs might be. Is that something that would be in what you're talking about?
Yeah, with any claim, you're going to have, your medical costs are probably 60 to 70% of any claim or, any injury. So the more you can do to reduce the medical spend, the better off you're going to be. So the state has a fee schedule. So you're going to see about 50% off of the medical bills generally when you apply the state fee schedule. But then we have PPO networks that you can get additional savings from.
So I assume that what you're talking about right now is in addition to what we're talking about is the other piece of the product and additional costs.
Well, what happens is the cost for reducing medical bills, we apply that to each claim.
It's just right now, as a committee, we're totally in the dark about how any of that happens. So we're not currently seeing any reports, and we're trying to understand what these two different packages would look like. And for me, I'm totally in the dark about the transparency of, and I do wonder about our medical costs and how our insurance, if that insurance over there is covering, because I think that is a lot of the insurance that we do cover is our inmate medical costs. But it's totally, I'm totally in the dark. So I don't know. That's what my question is. If we picked up that piece, would we then be getting reports and could see what is actually happening?
Well, yeah, so if we were to do that for you, like we could do everything, we could handle the claims from start to finish, but if Kim does that already, she can send the claim to us, we can set it up, then she can continue handling it. That's how, we've got clients that do it that way now. We store the information in our system, but the client handles the claim, manages the claim. Right, so, but what you do, what helps there is you capture all the information on the claim. So you capture all the payments. We could also make any payment that you needed to be made. You know, so that might, a lot of our clients find that issuing checks is really kind of a hassle, so you can take that burden and give it to us.
So are you only handling the OJI or are you handling the inmate medical?
I'm not handling the inmate medical.
You're not.
Only if they're injured under our care, like if they're released from work detail or something like that and they're injured, that's the only ones that I would see.
So that is contracted. Is there a reason we don't do it under this? Would there be a reason? Do y'all?
Well, I think that makes sense. What she's saying is, you know, they become like an employee when they're on a work detail. So that's why it's handled under the OJI.
And it's not
if
OJI,
it's,
it would be under the liability program.
Oh, so it's under liability. Okay. Yeah. But I think otherwise, if they're, you know, just incarcerated, then you probably, like you said, you have another program for that.
And that program doesn't fall under this committee?
No, there's a vendor that provides all services, nurses, the whole nine yards.
The whole 9 yards over there. So we wouldn't be looking at those Medicare claims.
And when I said Medicare, you know, the Medicare, you know, Medicare requires annual reporting. Mm-hmm. So it can be a hassle, but if we have the information in our system, we just send it to them automatically. We do that for all of our clients.
I have to report Corbell currently does our Medicare report.
Okay, so Corbell probably provides you with the bill review and.
Yeah. And currently,
And just to tell you a little bit, I don't know a lot about Corbell, but we pay them about $1,000 a month for these services.
That's not much.
That's just for the Medicare reporting.
Oh, okay. That was just the account I was in. What do we pay them otherwise?
Well, it depends on what I submit for bills.
Oh,
they pay our medical bills and write our checks.
So they take out
they do the PPO network. They send it through the fee schedule and take off the PPO. We have a PPO network for them, and then they pay the remaining fees, the medical to the vendors, to the facility.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that would help us, even if you just left that with Corbell, Kim and I struggle at the end of each year to put loss runs together. And we've got sort of a loss run we put together, but she has to go practically rebuild it. And then we have to get all those explanations. We come to you for half of them, and it is not very credible in the marketplace. So if we had, you know, just forgot about stuff Corbell's doing, or consolidate anyway, but if we just utilize that side of the service to create the loss runs and manage them and help you set reserves. You know, we really don't have a, how do you do those reserves now? It's just the best you can. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and,
but it feels like.
Reserves are tough to set, and so the carriers ask, and they say, well, how are you setting these reserves? And I'm like, we have a fantastic person that does that. Go ahead.
On your fee schedule here, your proposal, you got, you know, 49, 53, 59, something. But then something that we don't have on the other is you say see fee schedule. We look over here at the fee schedule. Are these all on top of your basic insurance?
Yeah.
Basic,
Yeah,
so
this
this is just a basic,
is your property.
and then everything else is on top of it.
That's your claims administration.
So we don't really know what was, I mean, this right here was an all-inclusive thing, but this right here, we're kind of nebulous on.
Yeah,
So I think I have questions I wanted to ask you about too, because on the RFQ response, if you look like into the document, so there's the 49,000, just talking about year one.
Yeah.
The 49,000 for just the broker. That doesn't include Acrisure, right? And then if we included Acrisure, then that's the 20,000. So it'd be a total of 69. And then there's a note of 20 hours. So is that 20 hours of Acrisure is 20,000? Is that right?
No, it's 20 hours of safety and loss control.
Okay, so that,
Which is not part of the 50, it's an additional.
we
that's
roll
part of the
20 into, it's basically $190 an hour. So we roll
okay,
about $3,500 into our fee
okay.
to include it in there.
Your fee,
Yeah,
the 49, okay,
And that way, we sort of estimated 20 hours is boots on the ground here that we might need.
okay.
And then if it exceeds 20 hours for some reason, which we don't expect, then it's $190 an hour. Now, separate from that, risk control and the broker fee of being your risk manager and placing your coverage is the claims administration. Brittany did a good job getting us to list out all of the fees associated with that, which is mind-boggling if you try to digest it. But the bottom line is you can sort of use that a la carte and pick the services like we're sitting here talking right now. Corvell's doing the OJI stuff, so we don't need that. And then we need to look at the property and casualty side and do the loss runs and set the reserves and whatever else you might choose to do. So that's what he would do, and his minimum fee is $20,000. So it could be more than that, depending on how much you choose that you want.
So I have a question on that, so, or that's for you, the system that you said that they could have access to, is there a fee for that?
No, it's included in what we quoted.
That would be included in the 20?
Okay, so you would be doing medical, property, auto, and liability, correct? Since you're not doing OJI.
Only medical and OJI.
You wouldn't be
Right,
doing
not
I
medical.
said no,
Not
OJI is Corvell. So
Yeah,
they'd
not
be doing medical, property, auto, and liability.
There's no medical, we didn't bid the medical.
They need medical bills for if I tripped and fell, if I was an employee and I
Well, that's
tripped and fell,
OJI.
hurt my knee. Yes, OJI, that's the only medical they're talking about. There's not health insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing will change with that, yeah.
Consultation and a medical.
Yeah, if we had a body injury.
So property, auto, and liability, yes.
Yeah, basically, what you would see on your, that we place excess for, that y'all administrate the claims on.
Okay, so like I say, you're just giving us a base figure here, and then we can have all these other costs on top of that.
Yeah, if we choose to. Right now, you don't have, you've got Corvell, but you don't have any of these things.
Yeah, I know, like I said, we've got 3 other areas here.
So if you choose to do that, which I recommend, I mean, we sort of need to sit down and look at it and talk to Kim and figure out, what she does and what we would use that for.
Yeah, like I say, we're just kind of comparing apples and oranges here now.
Yeah, it really is.
So, am I assuming that what we're talking about here would, in addition to your fee, would be approximately 20,000 and or anything else we wanted? And is this the same thing we were talking about, in regard to the other company with those extra fees on top of the 150?
It's really hard, it's really accurate.
Yeah, because like I say, this is all inclusive,
So
this is,
It's all,
It's
constructed differently for
that
that
word.
word.
Yeah, I think I understand what they just listed it out here.
Yeah. The primary RFQ was for broker of record. Stop. Then we just wanted information regarding TPA services in case we needed that assistance. If instead of hiring another person here, maybe you have a service that does it. It's literally so you guys can know what's out there, and then you can go from there.
So for the record, we go back to the 50th one.
So, one of the questions that we asked, of the other one was, if they got a commission on the insurance also, in addition to what we're paying for services.
So we just net it down. You can't take a fee and a commission too, so we net it down to zero commission.
So you can't take two, so just as you, I can't take two things, but we would just want to ensure that the actual insurance policy is truly netted down. It's not being paid to somebody else. Like, so if Sumner pays $50,000, that included commission, well, 10 of it, let's say, is commission, that's not, whatever. We just want to make sure that Sumner's not still being charged 50, they would go to 40 or whatever that
Yeah,
math
we
is.
just tell the
Yeah.
carrier to net.
Net that out.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to make sure that's.
We do
clear.
that on, anytime we charge a fee, you net the commission out of the policy so that you're not double dipping.
How many carriers do y'all have?
How many carriers? That's a good question. 100 maybe? There's probably 10 predominant carriers, I would say, that write cities and counties, and they sort of a niche deal that they don't.
One of the issues that we've been having, anytime that we talk about having an accident and all these kinds of things that happen on a periodic basis, is that, we do have elected officials and they run their own departments, but we don't see any remediation of that accident. Any trainings or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's not good.
we're not, I figure, is that something that y'all would undertake,
Yeah.
is to see, if there's kind of a remedial driver's training program, something, we did that in the military all the time.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had an accident, you went into remedial driver's training, and, didn't do it again, or.
Yeah, there's different directions you can go, and y'all do some of that too, don't you?
Not risk management, no.
Y'all get into that?
Yeah.
Okay. So that,
It's just
the first thing you do, like you did in the military, is if you have an accident, you sort of triage that accident and figure out why it happened and what created that accident. And then you look at the circumstances surrounding it and the person involved. And then you figure out how to avoid that accident in the future. That's the first step we take. And I don't think we're doing that. We're so that's a departmental situation where that department has to be responsible for bringing Bob Smith in and having him sit down in front of him and saying, okay, let's go through the whole accident. What happened? What could you have done to avoid that accident? What can we change as a county to avoid that accident? Was it poor equipment? Maybe the bad maintenance. Was it poor driver training? What created that, and what can we implement to do that?
So, and can I ask you, that comes not under basically the broker record, that comes under the TPA piece that we're talking about.
Well, some of the,
Helping us, because
you
we're
can do that
struggling
with your
in that
risk
area.
control person. We were talking about the 20 hours of risk control. Risk control person would be the person that if we did some driver training, that would be the person qualified to do that.
And at this point, I would say we don't know where our risk lies.
Yeah, that's the first step.
As far as prioritizing.
We've seen statistics, but we haven't seen any
Yeah.
trying to get this problem resolved.
Yeah, I try. We can get so tied up in bureaucracy when something like this happens. We're having a safety meeting, then it becomes all bureaucracy, and we don't get anything accomplished. Yeah, we don't want to do that. we want to just simplify the process. And the goal is we don't want to have that accident again. You know? So we start with a one-on-one and we figure out what caused it. And then we might have, that might be an isolated event. So we don't need to go build a wheel for this one event when all the other departments are doing it right. So we isolate that, and what I usually do is create a report. It's a guideline for the department because they're not insurance people, and it's sort of a guideline for them to go through this page, one page. I always keep everything in one page, and let them go through and ask the questions that need to be asked. You know, what caused it? How could it be resolved? What could have been done better? What's the county's role in this? What's your role in this?
And I think our department heads do that. We are not.
They probably did stuff, it's not documented in a
Yeah.
common place.
And then however, it rolls out into the insurance cost at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. And I would foresee creating a report like that and creating a threshold. So if we break something that's worth $50, we don't want to see that. But you know, have some type of threshold where you do want to see those.
We see, you know, like if it's 1,000 or 2,000 above, we see it.
I think we see a lawsuit.
You see that, just a
I think that's what we see is a lawsuit.
Well, yeah,
And
that,
payment,
but we do also see
back payment
the
issues.
property damage or the vehicle damage. I know
so you see what it was and maybe how it happened. So we've got to manage y'all's workload. You don't need to have so much, you know, you can't handle it. And then we need to manage the employee and then the department supervisor, whoever runs the department. Those are a lot of hours that are expensive hours. And so we want to create just a simple, a one-page deal that they can go through with the employee while it's fresh on their mind and document it. You know, the sheriff does that. He writes a full report and documents it all. It doesn't have to be that comprehensive, but something that you know the format of the report. You can look at the report. If you want to know something, you know exactly where it's going to be on the report. And then, you know, let's say once a month, y'all can just get the reports and look at them with the understanding that y'all don't want to get too much in the weeds on it. You know, you want to push it back to that department. But if it's something that maybe it's a driving incident that could be exposed in other departments, you got to figure that out. The biggest exposure to sheriff's department.
And I've spoken to the sheriff. He assured me that he has his eye on the ball.
Yeah, they're pretty good about doing that.
I felt like it.
Stuff.
Yeah.
And they're sort of isolated when it comes to this. Y'all don't review their claims, do you?
It's a lawsuit.
A lawsuit. So, but the day-to-day, like an auto code, you don't review.
I think they repair them.
Yeah, they have an internal mechanism.
They do.
They have their own account, yeah.
So they can, and most sheriffs have a really good review process and a good safety process, you know. But we work with a lot of sheriffs, and we'll sit down and look at that process.
There's a lot more departments here too.
Yeah. But that's where you know, the other departments don't have high-speed pursuits.
So, can I take us out of the physical equipment thing and ask our risk in more legal cases such as family leave, medical leave, and stuff like that? We have policies for that, and is that looked at in many of the TPA workers? No, we just do the we accept
Completely
it.
different.
Yeah, that would be. Don't y'all handle the medical?
We help consult on medical benefits, but FMLA is a larger policy than just
Yeah.
I don't think,
medical.
it just,
If it blossoms into a lawsuit, we've got a
That's where
separate
we're-
policy
that's-
for that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that's
we
out of
don't
our
manage.
scope.
Yeah, okay, that was the question,
Yeah.
thank you. Do you wanna,
I do, if I could, this OJI, TPA, whatever we're calling this, have y'all onboarded many people that were doing it completely independently until they took you all on?
Mhm.
And I asked that to ask this, because it will dump into my lap eventually. What legal ramifications as far as compliance with the state are we gonna be looking at changing or having to make, because we're already kind of carved out the way we've got it going now. And what am I looking at if we were to take on the services like this?
I'm not aware of anything, you know, Bob and I were talking about this. I don't think there's any state reporting required when you have an OJI program. You know, like if you have workers' comp, you have to file lots of forms with the state when there's a claim. But I think with OJI, I think maybe you file something annually, and that's it. And maybe not even that. I think once you opt out of workers' comp, then you're just out of workers' comp. So I don't think, as far as the state goes,
And none of the metrics change or computations and all that stuff.
No, I think the computations and the metrics, you know, it's all based on what's in your benefit plan.
And
So
we can still run off of that.
yeah, so you know, since you've opted out of workers' comp, right? Yeah, so
Not the overall benefit plan.
yeah. Thanks for clarifying that. But you know, you define what's in your benefit plan, and you know, that would not change. I mean, because that's totally up to you. You know, but we do work with a lot of other entities that opt out, so we can share, you know, some of their best practices or some of the things they have in their plans with you. So that's been helpful for some of our clients to see. Oh, Hamilton County does this. That sounds like a good idea.
Did I jack any of that up, or you got any questions related to that? Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have to, don't you set up your ERISA plan, program when you do this?
I think it has to comply with the RISA. Yeah.
He's the authority.
Even though they're ERISA exempt?
Every county, every program I've ever done had a ERISA program designed to administer the OJI.
Okay, it's probably because it's OJI on
Yeah.
ERISA exempt.
No, not for that side.
Yeah, no, I know you're not trying to mix, in my head though, they are ERISA exempt, and that's
Yeah,
how I
that's
think
right.
of it,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
So what you bill for us, get it started, what is the rest of it?
It's a federal policy, it's a much larger overarching thing, and it does become an issue when we're talking about health benefits, but you are ERISA exempt in regards to health benefits, like Blue Cross Blue Shield plan, that plan. We have to abide by, I actually have to keep my ball on both Tennessee and ERISA. But if ERISA is silent, we go with Tennessee. And so it's just to make sure that everything is legally. It's a Retirement Security Act. It's a very large law. It's kind of hard to
Retirement Income Security Act or something, I think.
summarize, yeah.
Acronym. I could have gotten
It's just passing the FMLA stuff.
alphabet soup.
Yeah.
We wanna make sure, the main thing is we wanna make sure it's set up right, and we're doing it right. And he's, you know, one reason he and I, partnered is because he's done more of these than anybody, and he knows the ins and outs, and I don't have to think about it.
So this is not, this TPA is not a service that was offered to us in the past, I don't think, or I just didn't, I missed that.
Say it again.
This piece that we're talking about,
TPA.
yeah, the TPA initially. We didn't look at this in the past.
Because you were handling it in-house.
Yeah, because of, but I want to go back and reflect on how do insurance companies look at our loss runs and stuff? I mean, you briefly kind of said it's kind of.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question.
So for us, one thing that I think is important for us, this committee to understand is, do we need to have, and both vendors are offering TPA in various reports or ways.
Right.
But I think that is one thing we need to address completely. Do we need this? Do we need some more resources in that area to kind of go back to what you were saying, that y'all are struggling to get those numbers solid, or
I think
we could
it
do a
would
better
give
job?
us, it's like going to get a loan at the bank. The better the information you give them, better your chance of getting the loan, and probably the better your interest rate. So, similarly, if we go out to the marketplace for our renewal each year, they want to be comfortable, that you have the financials to support the retention, which y'all do, and secondly, that you have the right risk management in place so that we're not going to have a $6 million claim like they had at Virginia Beach, and that we're proactively doing that, which is what our plan is here. And then the third thing is they've got to be able to look at your history, because you got to be able to put a stake in the ground somewhere. So they're going to look at your history, and if we have complete loss runs like they're used to looking at, that makes them more comfortable. And your goal is to make them more comfortable.
Can they not see our loss runs based on our history? I mean, some of these policies, we are returning customers. I don't understand insurance, but they do know how we are. I mean, they know our history.
Yeah, they can see, your states for so long, and they look back 10 years.
Yeah, so they know who we are, better than we know who we are, probably.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's my job, is to translate all that to them and make sure that they're comfortable and they understand the risk and they can give us the best premium possible. And that's what we did in this last round. Tim worked a ton to get these things. We've done it for 4 years, so we've sort of had it down. But we took what we've built over the years and just enhanced it and completed it and put it in a format. I had to reformat a lot of it to make it look like a loss run. And once we got that done, we were off to the races. But if we had he has a system that does it, that it would be, y'all get loss runs for your OJI from Corvell?
I can.
Something of that nature. It'd be something like that, But you want to get them in a zone where they're comfortable looking at stuff they always look at.
Yeah, no matter who you choose, they both are offering a system that you can put data in, which would allow you to create these standardized loss runs that these guys he's talking about they want to see. Mm-hmm. So no matter which way you go, you're probably going to want to think real seriously about signing up for their systems.
I'm kind of feeling that we might need to consider some more of the TPA services.
I'm glad you put the TPA stuff in there, because that's something we need to look at.
And thank you. I think that came from
Our consultants.
Our consultants helped us with that.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm in a time crunch.
Yeah.
He's got
I don't know if we're gonna make a decision or not.
Let's move that. Just look. I personally, and I'll just say for myself, I need to read these a little bit more. I don't know if y'all want to make for me, I'd like to have time, but I don't know what your views are. I don't know if y'all.
I would make a motion that if you are finished with your presentation, I would make a motion that we allow our chairperson to set another meeting for the purpose of reviewing this.
Were we able to get the 27th on the calendar?
He told me not to schedule it yet.
Well, we're ready to. Do you think we could look at it?
Cool.
All right, thank you.
So not special or
Not
just part of
special,
our
just a
regular?
Our
regular.
regular meeting is on the
Yeah.
27th.
On the 27th, next week is our regular meeting.
So we'll just make a
Yeah.
decision then.
And then, if y'all could leave your business cards, and can we invite, her back here? I'm so sorry, we should. Go back to the table. Yes, please.
I got a few. I don't know how many I have.
Or just, if you could just, provide one and we'll share.
Yeah.
We're just.
Or if information, if it's in here, or Kim can give it to us.
I just write it over here, 770 241.
I don't think I have any in here.
9661. That's my cell number.
She out there? She's got me.
Maybe let me give you guys mine, or do they
And
need
if you
it?
could give it to Commissioner Brown, he'll share it.
Okay, mine is, John
So just to catch you up, we have,
He's on the other
we have
side.
cut this,
No, that's got
they
Danielle.
have finished their presentation, and what we're going to do is review the
And I'm in,
materials and follow up with
615.
questions. And we are having a meeting,
714
and we'll be reaching out with any questions.
6684.
So we don't need them here for that meeting, is that
I
right?
don't think so.
Sure, I think for them.
Commissioner Brown is gathering information.
Okay.
Anyone else?
He can distribute.
Okay, here.
You're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. So, to officially close the meeting, Mr. Hyde is left, so we no longer have quorum, so the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.